renovation, and the Commons building was built. Joe attended Mansfield University, graduating magna cum laude. He was recipient of the Outstanding Senior Award. Joe attended Temple School of Law in Philadelphia and joined the law firm of Galfin and Berger. He was a charter board member of the Pennsylvania Brain Injury Association. Joe is now retired and lives in Columbia, Tennessee, with his wife Karen, where they babysit horses and wildlife. He enjoys his grandchildren and the Nashville music scene and his great community of friends. Representing 1974, welcome Joe.
Well, this is all on my phone, so let's see how this goes. This old man goes to a reunion party he hadn't been to in 50 years. He hadn't been back to his class reunion. And he sees this lady across the banquet hall, and he thinks he recognizes that she's not wearing a name tag. He goes, man, I think I know who that is. I gotta find out. So he saunters over where she's standing, puts a big smile on his face, sticks out his hand, walks up to her, he says, "You look like Helen Brown." Her face turns to a scowl. She says, "Well, you don't look so great in that blue suit." I'd like to start by thanking the alumni. It was an honor to be invited here tonight, and I especially would like to single out Connie Jatola and Annette Carr for putting up with all of my questions and giving me details right up until the last minute and not ignoring my text that were plenty. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I was clearly not the cream of the 74 crowd. Any one of my classmates here that are here this evening would have been better representatives, and I'm not sure why I drew the short straw. But I'll tell you that I'm absolutely honored to be here, and I mean that. It's a privilege. And Mike kind of stepped on part of what I was going to say when he talked about 74 and the renovation, because a lot of folks may not remember that that's when it took place in our senior year. So the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders would go in the morning, and then those pesky 7th, 8th, and 9th graders went in the afternoon. And you have to know how much it broke our hearts our senior year not to have to be in class all day. That was wrong. And speaking of that time period, it was interesting because with only having just one school, the junior high, we were the first ones to actually graduate from the junior high school. Not everybody can say that. We actually graduated from the junior high. Well, not only did we graduate, but when we had our senior play, junior senior play, Boeing was the title, the gym was tied up most of the time, so we weren't able to practice in there, and we practiced in what used to be known as Bendine Civic Building on the second floor, and what is now Sand Bank for those who weren't around back then. So that was a piece of history and a piece of trivia that I'm sure a lot of people didn't remember, but that's how we concluded our secondary education. And I started to put words down on paper to start with, and I thought, you know what, I'll just put it on my phone, I can read that, I can't read my own writing. So I started putting thoughts down and where I wanted to go with it, and I spent maybe 2 weeks on it. And then I just got rid of it. It just didn't sound like me. So I kind of put mine in the form of a poem that I hope you'll bear with me on. The Trojans of 74 saw hope when we walked out that door. It seemed life was long as we broke into song to follow our dreams rich and poor. Before we left that last day, we looked back at our journey this way. It was a heck of a ride. Some laughed and some cried as we pondered what fate had to say. We gather now to look back, some friends we've seemed to lose track. So let's greet with a smile and reminisce for a while. And in your pile of memories, you'll stack. We danced to the Beatles and Queen. Bell bottoms were rocking the scene. We had plenty of hair and nary a care, just your typical teen. Fries at Troy lunch after school and Tasty Freaks cones to keep cool. Elmira at night was a pretty cool sight, but so were the girls at Troy Pool.
My word.
Our Trojans were loaded with spirit. The warriors often would fear it. But we lost the old shoe, so our stubbornness grew, and our grapples kicked Canton in the rear. Thanks to Kinsman, Kingsley, and May, don't forget Watson and Bohr in the fray. Through their strengths, they would dig. In the league, they won big. Our wrestlers had the last say. Carol's ladies stood tall. Not a loss in girls' volleyball. Those hard spikes to the floor by Brackman and Moore. We had the best coach after all. Jeff Holland, Mike Weller, Jim Morris. There was Polly and Morgan, of course. Finished first overall, Lords of all basketball. Carlona's brilliance was their fertile source. Troy's music was always our pride. Perfection was simply our guide. From bands to the choir, so much there to admire. With Eric's passing, our spirit just sighed. Now our teachers were top of the heap. In order in class, they did keep. From Bobcat to Willis and libraries Phyllis, it wasn't that easy to sleep. Now, to the down front here. To the grads of Troy 24, before you walk out that door, be humble, be proud, sing our anthem out loud. You are Trojans for now evermore. And please let us offer this advice. The world needs more who are nice. Be a mentor, not a foe. Karma is real, don't you know? Pay it forward, to be more precise. So boys, take control of your life. Plant seeds to lessen your strife. And if you marry one day, you won't have to say, my money left to my wife. And finally, to those in our class that are no longer with us. To those who are no longer here, we remember them all, let's be clear. Each soul has its place in our hearts, in our grace. Our memories have all shed a tear. From Robin to Rick, we recall the kids that we laughed with each fall. Cut short were their lives, but their spirit survives. It's up to us to answer their call. Thank you very much.